You know, there is a specific sound that defines Ho Chi Minh City. It's that endless rhythmic roar of millions of motorbikes. It's the heartbeat of the place. But lately, every time I hear an engine revving, I don't just hear noise, I hear the sound of money burning. Have you filled up your tank this week?
Oh, don't even get me started. I pulled into a station in District 1 yesterday, and I honestly did a double take at the pump meter. It feels like just yesterday a full tank for a scooter was pocket change. Now, it's becoming a line item in the monthly budget, and the tension at the pumps is palpable. People aren't just rushing to get to work, they look stressed.
It's intense. And that's exactly what we need to unpack today. It's not just about the price of gasoline ticking up a few thousand dong. We are seeing a ripple effect that is tearing through the fabric of daily life in Saigon. It feels like the city is holding its breath. But is this just a temporary spike? Or are we looking at a permanent shift in how affordable this city actually is?
That is the million-dollar question. Or perhaps the million-dong question. See, the problem with gas prices in a logistics-heavy hub like Ho Chi Minh City is that fuel is essentially the blood in the economy's veins. When the blood pressure spikes, the whole body aches. We aren't just paying more to drive, we are paying more to eat, to sleep, and to exist.
Right? Because everything in this city moves on two wheels or four wheels. I was talking to a Grab driver this morning. He looked exhausted. He told me that despite the fares going up slightly, his actual take-home pay has plummeted because the fuel costs are eating his profit margins alive.
Exactly. It's a squeeze on the working class that is becoming suffocating. But let's look at the faux index, if you will. You go to a street vendor for your morning noodles. The price has jumped. Why? Because the truck that delivered the beef pays more for diesel. The motorbike that brought the herbs pays more for gas. The gas to cook the broth costs more. Suddenly, that cheap, accessible street food culture is under threat.
It's the invisible tax on everything. And it's interesting you mentioned the accessible nature of the city. Usually, when we talk about inflation in Vietnam, we focus heavily on the local impact, which is obviously the most critical. But I've noticed a shift in the expat community too. There's a lot of chatter in the forums. The digital nomad paradise narrative seems to be cracking a bit.
It absolutely is. For a long time, foreigners moved to Saigon for the geo arbitrage, earning dollars but spending dong, living like kings on a budget. But that gap is closing. I have friends living in Thao Dien who are suddenly seeing their electricity bills skyrocket alongside their grocery bills. The cost of imported goods is up due to shipping fuel costs, and rent is climbing because landlords are facing their own cost of living increases.
So the bubble is losing air.
Precisely. It's a great leveler. Inflation doesn't discriminate based on your passport. If you are living here, you are feeling it. I think for the expat community, the shock is almost psychological. They came here for freedom and low costs. Now they are having to calculate whether they can afford that weekend trip to Vung Tau or that extra cocktail. It changes the vibe of the city from carefree to calculated.
Calculated. That's a heavy word. It makes you wonder about the long-term psychological toll. Saigon has always been this chaotic, high-energy, hustle culture city. But if the hustle stops paying off because the overhead costs of simply living are too high, what happens to that energy? Do people stop taking risks? Do small businesses close down?
We are already seeing it. Small mom-and-pop shops are the canaries in the coal mine. They can't absorb the costs, and they can't raise prices too high, or they lose their customers. It's a brutal catch-22. But looking deeper, this situation forces us to confront our dependency. We are so reliant on fossil fuels to keep this megacity moving. When that resource becomes volatile, our entire stability is shaken.
It really highlights the fragility of the system, doesn't it? We act like cheap energy is a birthright, but when it's gone, the gears start to grind.
It does. And it raises a philosophical question about urban design. Can a city of 10 million people sustain itself on individual combustion engines forever? This price hike might be a painful nudge or a shove toward public transport, toward electric vehicles, or just toward a lifestyle that is less frenetic. But that transition is slow and the pain is immediate.
It's a wake-up call that hurts the wallet first, and then the mindset. So as we wrap this up, where do we go from here? The prices might stabilize or they might not. But the innocence of cheap living in Saigon seems to be gone for now.
I think we have to accept that the era of ultra-cheap convenience is pausing. We need to be more intentional. For the locals, it's about survival and resilience, traits they have in spades. For the foreigners, it's a reality check. The city is still magical, but the magic now comes with a surcharge.
A surcharge on the magic. I like that, even if I hate paying it. It's a reminder that we are all interconnected in this economy. Next time you hear that roar of engines at a traffic light, remember, it's not just noise, it's the sound of millions of people trying to keep moving forward, despite the cost. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Stay resilient out there.